I'm still working on the second chapter on prayer in my book about walking as children of the light. And I wanted to cover a few points and ultimately get into application of prayer in a few areas. We pray to become in communion with God. It, God says in the scriptures, draw near to me and I will draw near to you. And remember the passage in Revelations where it says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone will open the door, I will come in and sup with him and him with me. We have the analogy of Christ coming in to dine with us within our hearts. So there's a very intimate connection when you uh, speak to God in prayer, when you commune with God in prayer. And prayer is one of the main ways that we can commune with God. Prayer also gives us connection to others. Jesus had prayed that we would be one as he is one with the Father, that we would be one with God and one with each other. And prayer is one of the ways that we become one. And we have a greater manifestation and growth in love when we pray, both for the people that we're praying with and the people that we're praying for. Our love for them deepens as we pray. And in addition to deepening our love, prayer also can be a way of expanding compassion within us. You know, when you pray for the suffering and those that are going through difficult situations, you connect with them on a very deep level. You feel more compassion as you begin to pray. And in addition to compassion and love, prayer can also help us to become more empathetic. And we feel other people's pain and we start to understand where they're coming from. When you come from a place of empathy, forgiveness becomes easier. And as I showed in my book, there's actually studies that show when you pray for people, like your spouse, it's easier to forgive. Maybe that's why Christ said, pray for your enemies. Pray for those that despitefully use you, because as you pray for them and pray deeply and very specifically, you become more empathetic towards them. You become more forgiving in your heart. Forgiveness flows more naturally when you're praying for people, whether it's an enemy or whether it's a loved one that sometimes gets under your skin. Praying can help you become a more forgiving person. And another aspect of prayer that's very important is to have gratitude and thankfulness. You know, it says to give thanks in all things to God in our prayers. And we also have the aspect of, let's see, we have the aspect of releasing our burdens when we pray. You know, it says, cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. So that this is a time where you can go and you can release all of the burdens and cares that you have. I mean, you could kind of think of God as sort of like your therapist or sort of like your best friend. You're going to pour out your heart to him, and that this is therapeutic. This is cathartic, just to be able to release your burdens to God. And it also helps to de-stress us. And I actually get into that in my chapter about there's scientific evidence that shows when you pray, it helps to reduce your stress levels. And this is the part that was interesting. At the end of each chapter, I have an application section. And I had three applications to apply. One of them was about, and you can do this yourself. Go get a piece of paper, go get a pen, write this down. Um, think of 5 people in your life that you really love, that you really care about. Could be family members, could be your friends, could be people in your neighborhood that you genuinely love. You know, I picked my son, my wife, I picked my mother-in-law, I picked a brother-in-law, and I picked one of my sisters. Those were the 5 people. And you take these 5 people and you think about each point, write it down. Um, what are some of the things that you love about them? If you're praying, thanking God for your wife and how much you love her, think about what are some of the aspects you might love about her. Well, maybe she takes good care of the kids, or she takes good care of you. You see the love that she shows towards you in some of the things she does. That's an example. Or if you're praying about a really good friend, what does that friend do that you love about them? Are they a giving and caring person? Do they have a real heart for God or for other people? Try to be specific and come up with at least uh, 5 reasons why you love each of the 5 people. And then you take that into prayer and you start thanking and praising God for those people, and why you love them and what they mean to you. And while you're doing that, your love for that other person is deepening. But then also in the same process, you're praising and thanking God for this person in your life. So many things are being achieved in this. And that was something that, oh, I came up with this great application. I'll put it in my book. And then I was thinking last night as I was laying in bed, I should do my own applications. As crazy as that sounds. So I did. And that's what I did. I picked the 5 people. I picked 5 things about each of the 5 people that I really liked or loved about them. And then I began to pray about it and thank God and go from there. And there was 2 other applications that I applied. I said, pick 3 people that maybe are suffering or in pain in some way, and try to show compassion towards them. Like if you know someone that's in the hospital, pray for them and get very specific. Like if they need to be breathing better, if they need to be eating better, if they're stressed out, pray specifically for their need, not just in a general sense. God heal them, God help them to feel better, but get very specific in having compassion for them and praying for them out of a heart of compassion. So pick 3 people, and then for each of the 3 people, get very specific about their need, and it's elements that they'll need to help alleviate their suffering. We just had someone where a family member had lost her daughter, and we're praying for her. We're praying for her mental health, that she would know that her daughter is in a better place. Trying to get very specific. So do that right now. Write that in your journal. Write 3 people that need to feel your compassion, that may be suffering, and get very specific about praying for them in their need. And the third application that I had was one of empathy and forgiveness. Try to list 3 people. They could be people that you classify as your enemy, or they classify you as their enemy. Or it could be just people that sometimes rub you the wrong way. It could be people that you genuinely love and care about, but sometimes they rub you the wrong way. Write these 3 people down and try to understand where they're coming from. Why do they do the things they do? And don't just make judgmental, nasty judgments like, oh, well, they do what they do because they're a nasty person. But try to understand where they're coming from. Try to empathize with maybe where they are in their life and how they got to be where they are, why they do what they do. And write that down, and then bring that into prayer and start praying for that person very deeply. And as you do that, your empathy for that person and your ability to forgive that person will increase. So try to do these 3 applications right now. Pick the 5 people that you love and the 5 things that you love about them, each individually. Pick the 3 people that need your compassion, that may be going through some difficult times, and be very detailed about what they need with these issues. And then try to pick 3 people that you need to have greater empathy for and to forgive more. And just bring this into your prayers, whether it's morning or night or just right now. Just stop what you're doing right now and pray for them. And see if you feel the love and gratitude in your heart for God and then the love for these other people. And by the way, with love, in addition to the 5 people, if you want to sort of get extra credit on this, think about 5 reasons why you love God and what God does for you. Thank Him for that, and allow yourself to really feel the love that you have for God. And if you really want to challenge yourself, think about 5 things you love about yourself and thank God for those things. I love the fact that I care about my family. I love the fact that I work hard at what I do. And then thank God that He helped you to become this way. And so it's a time to deepen the love for yourself, but then to thank God for what He's done for you and helping to shape you to be who you are. And so take these applications and try to apply them right now, and try to apply them over this next week, over this next couple weeks. Maybe it'll be something that becomes a regular part of your prayer life, going forward. So with that, I'll close and just keep praying.